Hey guys, this is Dash from Bloom Where You're Planted, and today we are kind of thinking about curb appeal. There are a couple houses for sale on our block, and it's just a good time for selling and buying houses before the school year starts, and so we just can't take that risk that anyone would complain. We're in a complaint-driven system, so if somebody complains about our property, then the city would have to address that legally, and they would definitely want to measure and search and make sure that everything is in code on my property if that were the case. So today, really this weekend, has been all about curb appeal and making sure the property looks good so that the neighbors will be happy about it. So one way we do that is to make sure that the front border is in full swing, the front flower border in front of the front yard garden. So we've got zinnias, echinacea, and the black-eyed Susans are still hanging in there. This is a really cool plant. It's kind of a bush, you guys. It's called Mexican sunflower, and it's really cool. Look at the bloom here. Isn't that vibrant? Just like the Mexican culture, just alive and colorful and full of fire. Some more zinnia. I guess the color is orange this season. My butterfly bush is doing good in this shady spot. We are starting to see a lot of butterflies. And yeah, sunflowers. Gotta love it. To some people, this might seem unruly and out of control, but I don't know. To most, I think, sunflowers just make me smile. I don't know about you. I think most people just can't help smiling when they see a sunflower. So sunny and bright. Now this front flower border might look like a lot of work to you, but it really isn't once you get a few wildflowers established. Let me show you my favorites. This scarlet sage is one of my favorites, and also a favorite of the pollinators in my garden. And see, inside the garden fence, oh, there's a wee lizard. And a knoll. My garden, the longer it stays here, the more teeming with life it is. That's great. He might eat squash bugs. Anyway, the scarlet sage is back there. It just came up all on its own. I just decided to leave it, even though it's in the garden, because the pollinators love it. So another one of my favorites is this black-eyed Susan. Comes up all by itself. Sometimes it comes up in surprising places. At the end of the season, when these flowers are spent, I just cut them off. And then I cut off the little seed heads. And I just leave them in the garden to sprout and bloom next year. Now the scarlet sage I got from Native American Seed Company, and I'll leave a link below to these seeds so you can go get some for yourself if you want. And I got the black-eyed Susan from them too, and they worked out really good. The scarlet sage just dies in the garden and just comes back. It just pops up, and I'll just pick the ones I don't want and leave the ones that are in the right spot that I do want. So that once you get these established, it's really fun to see them just poke their heads back up the next year. So one thing about them though is you got to plant these wildflowers in the winter or at the end of winter. So January, February is when you're going to want to scatter your seeds to get them established. And then on out, you don't have to worry. They're going to pop up in surprising places sometimes. My beautiful sunflowers also come up all by themselves. I planted a really fancy sunflower here the first year. It was a hybrid sunflower, one of those big giant heads. And then every year after that, these come up. They've reverted back to the native sunflower. It turns out I like them better, and so do the pollinators. Now my beautiful zinnias and my Mexican sunflowers. I start in little pots like these ones. And then I pop them into the garden bed wherever I want them. I also have some echinacea or some purple coneflower in here. It's having a little bit of a hard time getting established because it's pretty crowded with all these wild ones. But this is also another one that just spreads by seed in the garden. It's hard for me to believe that this flower border space in front of the front yard garden was just devoid of life totally when I started the front yard garden 3 years ago, and now it's just teeming with life and pollinators. So it's important that we keep up the front yard border, not only for good PR for us, but for the pollinators. It's a good time when there's not much blooming to provide a pollen source for those bees. And they have been out collecting. I watch, sometimes sit out here and watch and see them come and go with their pollen sacks full. It's so fun. But we have been working on another project. I'll show you. Now I wish I had taken a before and after picture, but this is kind of how it looked before. We were kind of losing our sidewalk with these vines, and then I'm kind of cleaning it up, putting down these bricks along here so we can get our sidewalk back. So my knight in baseball cap and jeans got this whole side done and bricked up nicely. This whole corner. And I've been doing this side every morning for about an hour. So I just have to push to the finish. Let's see if I can get it done. Look, you guys, the last brick. This is the last morning I have to work on this. Yay! Ta-da! Now at first, you guys, when I was doing this project, I thought, no, I'm not gonna include them because this is boring. I mean, this has nothing to do with growing your own food, but in urban gardening, this is part of it. Having good curb appeal, not having complaints about your property, that's part of urban farming. So yeah, because the people that are looking at the houses in this neighborhood are going to be worried about the value of their house, and they don't know me. Like, my neighbors know me and they love me and they support me, but these people coming up and down the block to look at these houses to buy they don't know me. So yeah, gotta keep the place looking good. So glad I finished this. I just have to clean up and I get to go in. Hey you guys, so I'm in the garden today and I love my sunflowers. What can I say? But this one has toppled over and taken out the garden fence. So you guys might think this garden fence is just for decoration, but it is not. It is to keep rabbits out. When we started the community garden, we learned that rabbits like little sprouts of anything. So it's impossible to get your plants up into anything producing food with rabbits around. So what we did was we built this fence out of free pallets, and I'll leave a link to an article I did on how to do that if you want to build a fence for your front yard garden out of free pallets. And what we did was we took chicken wire, if you can see that, and we put it halfway up to about the midsection of the pallet. So it doesn't really show, but it keeps the rabbits out. All right, my brother-in-law loaned me this chainsaw. So, because believe it or not, these sunflowers take quite a bit of effort to to get chopped off. So I'm gonna rev this baby up and get this done. These sunflowers are tearing up my fence, you guys. Okay. They're taking over. Man, that sunflower broke the zip ties that hold the fence to the rebarb. Oh, and it broke this one too. Man, that's a strong plant. Okay, I gotta go get some zip ties. I think I can just attach them back. Phew, good. I thought it was more permanently broken, but looks like it's gonna be good. Awesome. Let's make a sunflower bouquet.